Hi, Malta. Good morning to you. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for having me. Good morning.
Well, thank you so much for introducing yourself in California and the hostel to me. Yes, for our listeners, I'd like to introduce myself and to you formally as well. My name is Nicolette. I am the creator for the podcast titled You're Worthless. Read that again. The juxtaposition of your very soul. Now, Malta, the format of my podcast is usually introduction, question, and then closing statement. But then this time around, we're going to wing it. So if you allow me, I'd like
But
to read. Yeah. Yeah. I'd like to read your introduction for our listeners, and then we can get right into business. So, hey everyone, we have Malta here with us. Malta is a social entrepreneur utilizing business for good. He is the founder of ShoreBuddies, which released the world's first stuffed animal ever made from 100% recycled plastic bottles. Malta is a German native who lives in San Diego, California since 2011. More recently, he has decided to spice things up by sharing his insights as a comedic self-help author. Okay, you got me at comedy. I love laughing, as you can see. I think laughter is the best medicine in the world. So, yes, Malta, welcome to the show.
Nicolette, thank you so much for having me. And I found it kind of like really fitting that we met in Redondo Beach there that morning, like that coffee kind of like the universe
Hermosa, it was
brought us
Hermosa.
together. It wasn't Redondo.
Hermosa
Yeah.
Beach. Yeah, it was Hermosa Beach.
Hermosa, even better, yeah. Hermosa, it's beautiful. So it was a beautiful morning, beautiful beach, at coffee.
The name's beautiful, right?
I mean,
I
it
just
means
noticed.
beautiful in
I
Spanish.
know.
Yeah, no,
Awesome.
was a really cool coincidence. If there's anything such a coincidence in this universe, right? So like we were literally put together in the same vicinity, and it was just up to us to kind of like start talking to each other. And I'm a big believer is that's when the magic happens. And funnily, as you know, I'm an author, and I recently started writing daily three-liners, right? So like I'm a big fan of keeping things concise, short, easy, understandable. And my three-line morning was life is happening for you through other people. So and get on this podcast today, I think that's a perfect example for that.
Wow, life is happening for you. Now, I normally stop at that, and you added through other people. Oh, that's deep. I mean, kind of what my podcast, the essence of my podcast. I like to go into deep stuff, spirituality, all those things. But Malta, okay, I want to ask you first before we get into your book. What do you do for work and your entrepreneurship? What was it like growing up as Malta? Can you share with us?
Up, grew up in Germany, and that's funnily right. So like I'm literally in my old kids' room, like in the house I grew up
Right now.
in right now, and kind of like came full circle, right? So like it was my kids' room, and then when I moved out, went to college, in my dad's home office. I was manager at IBM, and he was traveling quite a bit all over Germany. But ever when he was kind of like, at home, working from home, there was his office, like my kids' room got turned into his office. And now I'm back, and like I live abroad now. And every time I'm back at my parents' house, it is now like my home office, right? So like this is kind of like a very fun coincidence. Yeah, but growing up, as Germany, being life, really nice growing up here, like small pitch thing here, school. But I always felt I kind of want to like, see and explore more, right? I kind of like really want to see the world and explore and understand the world. And with meaning, see and understand the world, I just don't mean to like, go to locations, for example. Not for me, seeing the world didn't mean or never meant and see the Golden Gate Bridge. I want to see the Statue of Liberty or the Grand Canyon, right? All of those things are important too, but I really want to understand how the world works, right? How the system works, or now seeing more on the experience, like how different systems work. But it was quite, a good upbringing, like played soccer, played hockey, did all kind of things. Summer, growing up, we went to the beach. And the beach back then was Yugoslavia, like before the war. My mom, she used to be a principal. And we had like the long summer vacation, so the whole family went on the campground, beach, and growing up by the beach. And then after the war broke out in Yugoslavia, decided to go to southern France. So pretty much every summer growing up by the beach, by the
Wow,
ocean,
you
which probably led me
travel.
to move to San Diego.
Wow, you travel. Like, what's the longest you've been at one place? I mean, besides
Yes,
your
I've
childhood.
been at one place.
Yeah.
Well, it's San Diego,
California?
right? So like, yeah, definitely San Diego. I've been there for 12 years. It's really, yeah, kind of like the place besides like growing up, right? So like I was 18 years for the like my first 18 years of my life. I was at my house, and then when I moved to college, moved to Hamburg in Germany. Was there for 4 years. Masters in business and informatics, and then I lived 3 years in Düsseldorf, worked a job there in that field. Before then, 2011, moved to San Diego.
Wow. Okay. Quite a story. But thank you for that. I picked up something you said about being full circle, going back, sitting right now in your room that you grew up in, right? Okay. FYI, right now, I'm actually packing. So you cannot see, but behind you, the place is I wouldn't say it's a mess because I took some of my stuff out already, but I knew. Okay, so what happened with me was the US trip. This is my first time going to the States. At the time when we met, I spent there for I spent 3 weeks in the US, and then I've already been in KL for about 15 years. Previously, I also left home at 17, but still in Malaysia, but East Malaysia. I kind of feel like it's also something needs to shift already. So a lot of things hinges with my trip in the States. And I think when I came back, so many things opened up my eyes and finally made I have the courage to actually pack up my bags, go back to my parents' place first before again relocating. So yeah, it's a funny thing how I, I don't know if you're in Germany for good, but I think San Diego is home for you now, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. So it's funny how things come together. I mean, just when you thought that it's falling apart, it's actually falling into place. So I love that.
Typical saying, right? Like you're there where you exactly need to be. And those kind of the things. And like the beautiful thing of life is kind of like it's lived forward but understood backwards, right? So like you kind of like questioning yourself, like a lot of times we're not like where we are really where we need to be, right? But then also back to the beginning, I said like when we started, life is happening for you through other people, right? So a lot of times we're so self-focused about ourselves that we forget what actually our job is, if you will, on this planet, is to be resourceful, like to be a resource for other people and being helpful for other people.
I love that. And I think that translates to your work, right? About stuffed animals. So that is woo, like when you when you introduce yourself to me that you're doing stuffed animals using recycled plastic bottles. I was floored. I'm like, okay, tell me more about this, Malta. Tell us. Hi, I'm Nick Nieras, your host of the Your Wordless podcast. Now, if this real raw stories hit home, don't wait. Please follow, like, and subscribe my Spotify and YouTube. For bite-sized inspirational reels, follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn. Don't wait. Your transformation starts today. Thank you, and bye for now.
Yeah, so started ShoreBuddies in 2014, and it kind of like all spiraled forward, right? So kind of like you pack knowledge as you go. and hopefully something kind of like comes into it. And like after moving to San Diego, I kind of always had the spirit to do something myself. Just working
Likewise.
for a company, right? So it's like
Yeah.
uh, I learned a lot in the jobs I had. Like every job I'm really grateful for, and I learned so many things there. But it was, and I think that ADHD. It's a lot of times I was so
I think
interested.
I have an undiagnosed ADHD.
It's undiagnosed, right? So like I'm pretty aware, I'm pretty self-aware of that. For me, it's like, there's always like so many other interesting things to like, see. Like I'm just
Yeah.
naturally a curious person, right? And like when I was working at a certain job, at a certain task, and then my boss told me, it's like, well, but this is not something, like you're getting paid for to do this, right? And I was like, yeah, but this is
Oh
interesting. It's like, yeah, but it's a different department, and like
my
we cannot work for them. It's like,
God.
different
I
costs.
thought,
And like, it's like, but this
yeah.
project is really helping the company. It's like, yeah, but it doesn't matter. So there were so many like, tiny little like political games within the company. And, one department was fighting against the other. And I never really liked that. I was like, okay, like maybe
Likewise.
when I got to San Diego, it was like, this is maybe the time, like to just try, like, like see what you can do. And like came all from an inspiration. Before I started ShoreBuddies, the stuffed animal company, I had a startup where we developed inventory management solutions for research labs. And certainly at the beginning, what paid the bills while I was like bootstrapping ShoreBuddies, like to its first and second stage. ShoreBuddies was really like the big ticket, like where I saw really this is something, like I see it and like really want to build. And it all started with an inspiration and a crazy idea, right? So to San Diego, I learned more about the issue of ocean plastic pollution, which back then, like it was a minority of people around the world talking about that. And now it's such a
Yeah.
profound topic all around the world. I think for Sure Buddies, we helped a little bit, to kind of like make it something to bring more awareness and empowerment how to stop it, how to solve it to the general public. Um, of like really seeing the gap that was missing between California and Germany, right? Like growing up in Germany, we're like so used to recycling, right? Like as a kid, I remember
Mm.
like we rinsed our like uh carb, like before we were putting it into the recycling and doing all those kind of things. And you go into the grocery store, like the bottles, their machines, you can like recycle. It was not a big deal, right? And everyone was recycling about it. It was really like militant about it. And then you come to
Yeah.
California, where, in my opinion, this is the forefront of the green revolution, right? Here, everyone recycles, everyone is eco-friendly, everyone hugs a tree in the morning, California. And it's
California, yeah.
plastic everywhere, right? But at the same time, everyone talks about ocean plastic there. It was a big topic. So it's like, there's a disconnect here, right? So how can we solve that? And one day I'm literally like sitting at my apartment in San Diego, in Pacific Beach, and I learn about this company called Patagonia. Of you who don't
Patagonia.
know Patagonia, it's a phenomenal outdoor brand. Ventura, California. Fascinated me back then was the fact that they were making T-shirts and jackets from recycled soda pop bottles, right? And they've been doing this in the 90s. And I was like, wow, this is the missing link. This is phenomenal. Like this is literally a use of the plastic in the recycling that literally closing the loop, right? This is the cycle. And for me, entrepreneurial spirit kicked in, and about what other products you can make from recycled material. And so was a stuffed animal, was a stuffed seagull. Not this one. This is an actual ShoreBuddies, but I brought one with me from Germany. And when I looked at that, it was like, if you can make a T-shirt or a jacket, you can certainly make a stuffed animal. And then we just went for it, like kind of bootstrapped the company, found a manufacturer, found production, and really kind of like scaled it from San Diego to California to the West Coast, nationwide, internationally. And like now I'm so fascinated about the toy industry because it's a vehicle, like you can literally teach environmentalism through toys.
Like you just open up my mind. Like I have this impending question in my head: why toys? And I know
That's
you're gonna ask me,
yeah.
why not?
No, why toys? It's a good question, right? So like for me, it's also kind of like what this book is about, right? So I'm a psychology nerd, right? So like I'm literally,
Are
as I
you? Did you
said,
take psychology in school? In university? No.
I did not. If you will, like a bachelor in psychology without going to college, right? So like when I first moved to San Diego,
Right.
I did not have a work authorization for the first 6 months. And, with ADHD, you cannot sit still. You constantly have to do something, right? So like, I consulted with a friend of mine who has a minor in psychology, and it's like, hey, like what, like I've always been interested, like what to do. And he gave me like all the like course materials, right? So like the first 6 months, and as a good German,
Wow.
and like as a good German, like recently coming, Germans follow rules. So like I got to San Diego, and it's like, oh no, you don't have work authorization, you cannot work, right? So like it's like, oh, I'm not gonna do anything, but I can study. So like I pretty much went to the whole like bachelor of psychology in the
Crash
first
course
six
in six
months,
months.
crash course in 6 months. I mean, I've always been interested, right? And like you of course build on that um and things. And for me, it was really like interesting. It's like math psychology and then kids psychology, right? So like in toys is the step of what we learn for the first 7 years in our life will last forever. Like
Now I see the connecting dots. Okay, I see it.
this is where example like who are like fluent, like completely bilingual. Like I consider myself bilingual, right? But I have a accent, heavy accent in English, which is really hard, to get rid of. And people actually
Me too.
now say I have accent in German nowadays too, apparently. So like,
Oh yeah,
that's kind of like
when
happens when
you're
you
like
live abroad.
teetering in the border. I know, like
Well, so like
Malaysian too.
you're a
Yeah,
foreigner everywhere nowadays. That's kind of like
yeah. You're foreigner. Like you're
what it
here.
comes
Like
down to. Uh,
yeah.
so everything we learn, before the age of 7 is literally we are sponge. We just consume information, like and through toys is such a beautiful way to teach. Because second fact in psychology, when we learn the best, when we're having fun, right? Learning through play,
Yes,
learning
when we're playing.
environmentalism through play is, I think, a perfect vehicle to literally improve the world.
Wow, I am inspired. Wow, Walter, I didn't see that through those lens. Thank you. Because you're not starting from when we're adults, but you're starting when they're like kids. So because that will take them, it will take it will stay with them until and then when they see the toys, you got those little tags, right? I assume because I've never seen one of your toy and what's it made from and whatnot and the mission behind it. Of course, when you're kids, when you look at it, you're like, oh yeah, whatever. But then as you grow older, you'll understand it. Like you also said, again, coming back, we understand it when we look backward. I don't know. You said a phrase earlier.
Life is lived forward but understood backwards.
Yeah, life is lived forward, but understood backward. Correct. Okay, I love the impact. I love the psychology. I think how I can relate is I've been pegged as somebody who is my dad. Okay, my dad, jack of all trades, master of none. But I refuse to believe that because had I stayed in my accounting pathway, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be able to be talking to almost, I don't know, close to 200 people already. And then I am learning. I'm learning the skills up and down, everything, by talking to people. And I used to read when I was a kid, but right now, wow, I think I'm consuming it through conversations like this. So I love that. Right?
Yeah,
I'm sure you can
that's
relate.
also something very interesting. And I always say that's literally what college is for, right? So like college gives you the chance, and ideally after that you have figured out how to understand how you consume information, right? So like, how do you learn? How do you study? And the best way to do that, and everyone is different, right? Some are like really visual, like some really need direct explanation. Some like read a book and have everything, like that's need to know, like in there, right? So like I'm a mix of things, right? I like to read to get like a good overview, but then you have to do like exercises, to really like bring it in. And so I'm a big believer that to learn something, study it. If you want to understand something, teach it, right? So like I really go a lot and work with colleges, with schools, entrepreneurs, like being a mentor for them. Me, like to understand those things better, and also, like you're doing the right thing with the podcast. Like a podcast is awesome, like why not? And like so easy to invite like interesting, phenomenal people literally to your living room, like we now are
Yeah.
connected with the internet. Like you're in Malaysia, I'm in Germany. There's like literally no local distance anymore. And you can talk to the most amazing people.
And you're bringing your experience, I'm bringing my own experiences, and then we're enriching the conversation. Amazing. Thank you to technology. So, Malta, tell us what your book is about and what's the title first off.
Is The Art of Self-Destruction, and here it is. So this is actually a fun, sarcastic
What a
spin
paradox.
on self-improvement books.
Wow. Yeah. I remember I had the same reaction.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Like back to serendipity when we met, like, like you, like it's just like a match made in heaven. And the thing with this is actually, psychology. And the best compliment I ever got for this is, Malte, I hate you. Because you're making me read all the negative things about myself. And I don't like that.
Yes.
So love you because I cannot stop reading because it's funny, right? So like, and this is literally what this book is using. It's using reverse psychology and humor to not only make you laugh, but secretly make you better, right? It kind of really comes from the concept we human beings, our brain cannot do the opposite, right? Like that is not how we wired. Like you ask like a stunt pilot, when they fly through all those different things, they're not focusing on the obstacles, right? Because if they would freaking hit them. They focus on the gaps between them. So, and if I tell you
That's
right
right.
now, Nicolette, think about a pink elephant. Think about a gorilla, right? Why not? Why you're not thinking about a gorilla? So, and this is exactly what this book is doing. So, typical self-improvement book is really kind of like showing you this picture, this is the best version of yourself. And, those are the easy 3 steps you have to take to achieve that. The art of destruction is a gentle kick in the butt to get you out of your rut. So there are 50 articles of self-destructions. We got fun ones such as Uncarpe Diem, let other people's opinions determine your life, make excuses, and of course to always blame others.
Just a laugh on my face. I think you asked me, right? You asked me once, what's your number?
But
And
yeah,
then
you remember your number? What was your number?
I think it was 44, but today I think it was 44. I think I want to choose 8 today.
All right, 44, just to have everyone see it. 44 is have no boundaries. And let's go with 8.
That's ADHD. That's yeah. See, that's one of my characteristics. Like I really don't have boundaries in terms of what I'm trying.
And by the way, like everyone can, like check the website or social media, like we have the chapters there. The social media is still in the building, but they're all gonna be there. Or actually download a sample on the website. But let's go with number 8. This is Nicolette's number. Blame others.
Oh shit.
Responsibility for our own behavior and actions is a sign of maturity. It's mindset at all costs. Your own success and happiness depends heavily on your responses to daily situations. Failure is unavoidable along the journey. We cannot control what happens. We can only control how we react. Fortune occurs, your immediate first thought always needs to be to blame someone else. No responsibility, and do not waste time figuring out who actually was at fault. Make assumptions, don't ask questions. Shifting the blame onto someone or something else is a perfect way to avoid reflecting on your own behavior. Blame onto someone else is also a subtle way to attack them. No matter how much people love us, there's only a certain amount of times people tolerate taking the blame for something that generally wasn't their fault. Blame your partner for your own shortcomings and mistakes.
Blame others and have no boundaries. Blame others. Okay.
Have
And
no boundaries, yep.
one more
Like
one.
you have no boundaries and then blame others.
Yes, yes. Oh yeah. Okay, Malta, one more. 11.
All right. Let's go. Sometimes I don't really know the order. Ooh, but this is a good one. I think like your viewers really gonna enjoy this one. Number 11, Article 11 of the Art of Self-Destruction, limiting beliefs. Limiting.
Shoot.
Ooh, this is a good one. Limiting beliefs hold you back from what is possible in life and prevent you from pursuing your goals and dreams. While your limiting beliefs are at the edge of your comfort zone, your mindset is the basis for your limiting beliefs. They keep you from applying for your dream job or finding the relationship you desire. Because you see other people doing it, doesn't mean it's possible. Beliefs also help you to avoid new experiences like exploring a new country, learning an instrument, or going skydiving in your underwear. You might feel depressed and sad meeting new people because you believe no one likes you or understands your way of thinking. Changing your attitude and indeed meeting like-minded people, you need to lean on your limiting belief system so much so you no longer will leave the house. Established limiting beliefs are hard to change and will make your comfort zone an inescapable prison.
Okay. Okay, 44 was have no boundaries, right? Have boundaries or
Do
have
you
no?
want me to read that one too for the
Yeah,
listeners?
yes, please do.
Number 44, I have no boundaries. Like, can you see that? Like, they all come with a cute little drawing. Say yes to everything. 44, have no boundaries. The art of being a doormat. Whenever someone...
This one was like a slap on my face.
Alright.
Yeah.
Encourage others to take advantage of you.
Have no boundaries. What's the second one?
Beliefs and blame others.
Blame others. Have no boundaries. Limiting beliefs and blame others. That is it forces you to face yourself, the self that you want to hide so much and you don't want to, you want to put it under the rug and say it's fine.
This is literally, why I decided for this kind of cover, like you look into the mirror, it's fine, but actually it explodes, right? We are so aware. Now we actually are aware, but we are so like unwilling to change and kind of like face our demons, right? And like that's back change, but ourselves to put in the work for it, right? So like, and that's kind of like where really inspired this book. It's like I read a lot of self improvement and self help books like throughout my life, and this book was written in 2021. It really was not in the best place in my life at that time. Been through like a rough breakup and business, during COVID was very, very difficult at that time. I turned to like those self-help books, to coaching and all those kind of like, materials. And for me, like being a really fun and sarcastic person for like that, there was something missing, and that's where I kind of like really went for that. So like in full disclosure, everything that in this book I pretty much wrote for myself, right? So like, and then I started sharing it with other people, and they said, this is gold, like this is funny, like, people need to hear that. So I really do believe it's needed out there in the place. It's filling a gap, and it meets the people where they are. Like we're all somehow guilty more than others of every one of those chapters. Uh, like reading about this, that's why I'm saying it's a little kick in the butt. Like to maybe show you what you are doing wrong instead of like coming from an angle is like, this is what you have to do right. Like sometimes it's good to
People
take
don't like to
inventory
be
first.
told.
Like
Yeah,
to be told, like it's like, okay, those are the things I have to do to be that version. Can you skip the process and just be that version? Isn't that what I like should happen after the book's like, no, you still need to put in the work. Like now you've just been given the tool set, but the change has to come from within.
that is so true. That is so true. Whoa. Again, another therapy session for me. Every podcast that I go into, it's just because you learn, like you reading all of this self-help, because I too was no, I don't want to say addicted because addicted is such a bad word. I was so engrossed in also consuming information from self-help, and just when I thought that I have maybe helped myself, like there's a point where you say I'm better, but then that's the ego saying that no, you're not better. Because the moment you say you're better, that means you still have work to do on yourself. You're not. It's just because you consume so much information or things that you're better than others. That's the juxtaposition of it. So it's the awareness, because once you okay, so I my podcast name is You're Worthless. It's literally what I say to myself every day during COVID as well. And that's why I came up with that. Now, for 4 years, 5 years after COVID, and I definitely have pulled myself out of the rut. But it's not to say that the journey has ended. I've got a bigger mountain to climb, right? And then,
This is kind of like really, I think, never-ending journey. Like literally until you die. Like it's life is, and I mean, otherwise it would be boring, right? Like it's like, oh, cool, I am now, like finished with working on myself. It's like, really? Perfect, right? So like, who the hell is perfect, right? So like, I have that strive to literally get better every single day, like, and this is, I think, the you have to do self-improvement too. Like some people in the industry, they speak about like a healing journey. Like you have to find back to yourself and kind of like the circle. I wouldn't even go that far. That sounds like something. Even then, it's like you're broken, right? So like we are all not perfect. We all have our issues. We all come from somewhere. Like, and it's like being aware first of all to acknowledge it, like being okay with yourself is like, okay, this is where I'm at now. This is not ideal. I want to get better and working to get to that situation, but then it doesn't stop, like it's you and like just looking back, like how far you've come, like probably now that person that you once wanted to be.
yeah, exactly. Wow. Thank you for that, Malta. Okay. Where can people get your book? Also your toy.
So both are available, selected retailers, but certainly the easiest way is to get them online. Book is the website is art-of-selfdestruction.com. On Amazon, The Art of Self-Destruction. This cover, like, it really stands out. All the social
That's the tree of
medias.
life, right? That is that the tree of life? I can't see that.
It's a explosion. Life
Well, the juxtaposition
blows
is just
up
like,
in the, like,
yeah,
you look in the mirror and everything explodes. Like, this is kind of like where you at. So we're working here on The Art of Self-Destruction. So
yeah.
available on Amazon. You can get a printed copy like this in I have to say participating countries, but you always can get a Kindle version. And or you can go to the website, download the book over there. And then the toys, ShoreBuddies.com, you can find them there. But there we do not ship actually in all the different countries. We are, I think, in the US, Mexico, Germany, Italy, but we are not worldwide with them. Wide yet.
Okay, well, at least listeners can get access to this through those countries that you just mentioned, right? And then they can have the full list of the countries over in your website, right? Okay.
Exactly. Go to the website, follow us on social media, ShoreBuddies, and in the art of self-destruction. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, you name those things.
Okay, Malta, what work are you most proud of so far? Becoming a podcast host was a natural extension of my second act. And after spending 15 years in the corporate world, I've transitioned to helping individuals overcome challenges like navigating tough relationships, career burnout, and aligning their mission with their soul's calling. By certifying as an RTT hypnotherapist and a lifestyle coach, I've made it my mission to empower people to recreate the life they deserve and building a supportive community through my podcast. Now, let me ask, are you facing challenges like struggling to reprogram your mind to attract wealth, weight issues that feel like a constant yo-yo, insomnia or restless nights from daily worries, or just a lack of confidence in public speaking? If the answer is yes, visit www.thenickdarasholisticlifestyle.com and grab a free hypnosis audio of these common struggles. It's a sneak peek into how my coaching works. Are you feeling shy? Don't be, because I'm as real as it gets. Let's connect on Instagram and LinkedIn and start your transformation today.
Self.
I knew you would say that.
It's actually for me, it's really the realization of using business for good. Just last night I had guest speaker at the University of Maryland, careers in
Wow.
toys. And this is really for me, it's very important, because I really want to be that I was missing when I was at that stage, right? So I had to go through the school of hard knocks about entrepreneurship when I got to the States. And I got there and they are it's, in their 20s, they literally master in entrepreneurship and getting all those tools, before even having a business. I don't want to say my college education was worthless, or the opposite, right? I really value and honor those skills. Entrepreneurship, as I said earlier, for me is the only path towards personal and financial freedom, which kind of goes a little bit hand in hand. Combining that with solving a social cause, because this is really what people unique, we, I want to say the majority of people actually are good and want better for the world, better for their communities. And entrepreneurs are community leaders, right? So there's community leaders with the necessary skill set, solve a social cause, show them how they can, really execute on that while making a living. I think it's something really phenomenal. Recently was in the Philippines, holding a workshop about that, entrepreneurship, and I'm gonna plan on continuing doing that, because the impact really triples down. Really educating other community leaders is something I'm really, really passionate about as well.
I think I'm curious, and also the listeners may be curious, how long did it take you to get to where you are now? I know you're growing, but how long? Yes.
Doing this year, so it's a work in progress. It's different lives, I feel like every decade you have to reinvent yourself a little bit. Huge pivot, and this is how you really see a lot of different things in life, and can stack those experiences. Always tell everyone, students and entrepreneurs I mentor, is make sure to network. Your network is your net worth. There's, by the way, a chapter about that as well.
Network is your network. That
And
is so true.
one thing my dad really taught me, that was I think his major career advice for me when I just started in the work space, and this still holds value to this very day. Relationships only hurt the people that don't have them, right? So really, really make sure to network. Not only important who you know, it's also important who knows you.
Wow. It's what a way to ponder. I'm gonna take that with me and then process that over the next course of days while I pack my stuff and I'm pivoting to a different place. I'm making that change right now as well. Okay, Malta, what are you working on currently?
Really working on the book promotion. So like something I just recently was on the Frankfurt Book Fair uh, this weekend and promoting it there. We had a booth there, and yeah, it was kind of like the end of the tour. I was on a global tour over the summer. We launched it, we kicked it off in Seoul, Korea. Uh, at
Oh my
the
God.
Hong Kong Book Fair, where we sold actually over 100 copies of this. Was kind of like really, really great to have it there. And, you know, like with the connections and opportunities I have in the through the toy industry, we were able to, you know, get like some copies over there. And we're sold out. You know, that was really, really cool to like really show the demand and the interest and like, you know, the great words from there and the feedback I'm really getting from readers, right? They like feedback, like, you know, folks reach out after they got the book through social media, telling me like how much they needed it, you know, like they're literally feedbacks of like I was such a dark space in my life right now, and this book has like turned things around for me. And others are like I showed this my son when we had a discussion about good and evil in the world, and he really took this book as a perfect example, you know, to rethink uh, the things, right? And those feedbacks from actual readers, you know, like kind of shows me that I'm on the right path, and that this book needs to get in as many hands as possible. Uh, it's gonna be like my focus for the next couple of months for sure.
Wow, hearing you say that, just congratulations. And I think it's gonna soar from here on out for you. Whew. Okay, Malta, we're gonna pivot to a self-worth question. Okay. So there's a question for every guest. So the question I've selected for you: self-discovery. Well, oh well. Okay.
Excited.
I haven't even read it, but then when I read it, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is actually what we're talking about again, full circle. Self-discovery often involves confronting our fears and vulnerabilities. How can individuals embrace these aspects of themselves to facilitate personal growth?
I love it, and this is literally what we have to do. You know, it's like the so often quoted comfort zone. And it's everything in your comfort zone is where there's nothing happening because everything is comfortable, right? So like we have to stretch our comfort, like all your goals, all your dreams, they're outside your comfort zone. You know, like in your comfort zone, there's everything that kind of like makes you feel like just being comfortable. And like, you know, you talk to every successful person in the world, they all tell you have to get a little bit uncomfortable, you know, like, and this is really is when it comes to like self development, you know, like facing your fears, getting out of your comfort zone. And bravery is not the absence of fear. That's what everyone gets wrong. Bravery is actually overcoming your fears, right? Like people are not fearless. People less feared by stuff other people are way more feared about because they like lived through it. They have the experience, you know, like, but the comfort zone is really, that's where all hopes, goals, and dreams die. And I actually have a chapter in here, which I would love to read. It's article number 32, your comfort zone. Comfort zone is your safe place. Everything you know is in here. Your routines, your relationships, and your peers define your comfort zone. Outside are your dreams, new skills, new experiences, and personal growth. In your comfort zone doesn't require any change and ensures you will stay in life exactly where you are. Try to expand it. Comfort is what you are aiming for. Over time, stagnation, frustration, and a feeling of stuckness will inevitably shrink your comfort zone even more. If you stay in your comfort zone, the smaller it gets.
Okay. Wow. What a bunch of slapping today. I love it. I love it. It's yeah, every podcast that I go on to, it's a therapy. And this just proves that, okay, there's so much. Just when I thought that I
We're
have
all just
healed,
self-medicating.
I know. Just when I thought that I've known certain things like psychology, spirituality, when I talk to again a new person, it's like again I don't that things that I know that I don't know, that things that I don't know that I don't know. So this is yeah. Malta, what is your heart's greatest wish?
My heart's greatest wish is literally have everyone realize that the power comes from within and that we are all one, but not all the same.
Same but different. Yeah, we are all interconnected. But why we're different is because of the diversity. Because if we're the same, it's just gonna be boring.
Right? So this is kind of like literally why life is happening for you through other people. This is how we grow. This is how we learn. This is literally
Oh my
how we
god,
interact.
yeah.
We are all the same, not the same. Well, one, but not the same.
It's like I am listening to you speak your answer. I'm like thinking and just pondering. Like I'm letting my imagination go. But then okay, come back, Nicolette. You gotta wrap this up. Okay. Do you have a mantra that you live by, Malta?
I don't really have a mantra, I want to say. No, just like one day
Okay.
at a time, maybe. That's like probably the closest mantra uh, for the longest time, one day at a time.
Yeah. I mean, simple, but ain't that the truth? One day at a time. Entrepreneurship, personal, whatever, personal life, personal growth, self development, one day at a time. I mean, even if you're reading the book and you're realizing that, oh shit, I gotta work on all these 50 things, one day at a time. One out of the 50, two out of the 50. Or maybe two,
Yeah,
you can bunch them up, right? But
exactly.
one day
That's
at a time.
really the power of now, right? Like Eckhart Tolle is such a like on and famous book, and it's really good advice, right? So, and it's really the only thing we can influence, like is the here and now, right? But at the same time, it's like not everything is like very much chill. So it's always kind of like being how to balance, right? Like today, right? Like it's not live your day like it's gonna be your last day, right? If tomorrow doesn't count, if tomorrow doesn't matter, I guarantee you everyone would live their day literally it would be their last day. And
That
it's
would be
probably not
booking
gonna look
those
pretty.
tickets.
It's not gonna be look pretty,
Yeah,
right? It's a lot of short-term
yeah,
thinking there and
that's true.
very different, right? So like how do you find the balance, of like living excites you today, but kind of like having a little bit of a long-term picture.
I love that. Balance. Okay, last question. If you could create a quote right now for you to leave to the audience listening and the world as your legacy, what would it be?
I have a lot of quotes, but like I left this one quote, and I think this is really fitting for the podcast, right? And this is a Malte original. You stop giving a shit what people think, world becomes a beautiful place.
Once you stop giving a shit, the world becomes a beautiful place. Oh, yes.
Stop giving a shit about what people think, the world becomes a beautiful place, right? If you constantly live by other people's opinions and other people's expectations,
Judgments.
those judgments, cutting yourself short, right? Like let
Mhm.
your craziness, let your weirdness, let your talent shine, getting it dim. Like stars shine naturally. You don't need to like ignite them. Let them just shine and stop dimming them.
I am going to sit and ponder on this today. Well done. Okay. How can people reach out to you?
The media, find me on social media on Instagram, 2_256. Connect with me there. That would be great. Always love to chat.
Awesome. And there you have it, everyone. You heard it straight from the source, Malta. Before we wrap up, Malta, I'd like to thank you personally for the work that you're doing for the world. Despite the challenges, you continue to push forward, paving the way for those that will follow in your footsteps. And for our listeners, this has been the podcast with that provocative title, You're Worthless. Read that again, the juxtaposition of your very soul. If you find yourself feeling worthless, you are not alone. But more importantly, ask yourself a deeper question. If I'm worthless, then why am I here? The truth is, your soul chose to be here energetically, coming all the way from the ethers. For that reason alone, you are worthy and you are enough. And with that, this is Malta, our guest of the day, and I am Nick Nieras, your host, signing off. Thank you so much, Malta, for your time.
So much for having me, Nicolette. It was a lot of fun and a huge honor.